Today you're going to work on multiplicative comparisons. That would be when you're comparing two things using the times as many as math language that we've been working with. So the first one I'm just going to do as an example. Darlene picked 7 apples. John picked 4 times as many apples. How many apples did John pick? So first, like always, we want to underline or highlight our keywords in our math problem. So Darlene picked 7 apples, so Darlene had 7 apples. John picked 4 times as many, so there's the 4 times as many language. How many apples did John pick? So remember to circle your final question so that you remember exactly what your final answer should be and what you should label it. So first I'm going to draw a picture that shows what is happening in the problem. So we'll change the color to red for the apples. And I'm going to represent Darlene's apples first. So Darlene, and she picked 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I'm going to represent John's apples. So if John picked 4 times as many, then it's really going to be 4 groups of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. So technically, if you were to count all of John's apples here, you would get your final answer, which would be 28 apples. Also, you're going to be needing to write an equation using n as the variable. So remember, we want to say n equals. So back to the information up here, we knew Darlene picked 7 apples, and John picked 4 times as many. So we could do 7 apples times 4 equals n, and then when we solve our equation, 7 times 4 we know equals 28. And technically, we're talking about 28 apples. So here's another problem. Fran is 2 feet tall. So you're going to go back and you're going to underline keywords and phrases. Fran, 2 feet tall. Her father is 3 times as tall as her. How tall is Fran's father? Circle the main question. So one of the interesting features about this application is that there's not much space here to draw your picture. So if you go down to this button right here, then it kind of clicks on it. It's supposed to be a magnifying glass and allows you to make things smaller or bigger. So you can make it smaller, place it off to the side, and then you have plenty of room to do your drawing. So I'm going to draw a picture representing the info in the math problem. So first I'm going to start off with the information I have. Fran is 2 feet tall. So obviously this is not going to be exact. We're not drawing a person who's 2 feet tall. So if that is 2 feet, her father is 3 times as tall as her. So you don't need to measure with a ruler, but you do need to kind of take a guess. So if that is kind of equivalent to Fran's height, her father would be somewhere right up about there. So we could draw her father with his head way up there. And that would be pretty close. So that's her father. And remember, Fran is 2 feet tall. So if we look at what we did here, there's the 2 feet, there's the 4 feet, and the top of his head would be the 6 feet. So down below, write an equation using n for the unknown. Well, before we did that, we didn't know. So Fran is 2 feet tall. Her father is 3 times as tall as her. How tall is Fran's father? his height would be n. Once we solve it, 2 times 3 equals 6, and we know we're dealing with feet. Or we have to look back to know what we're dealing with. So there's our final answer. So now you're going to try 2 problems very similar to what I just described, and you can always flip back to these slides by looking down here and pressing the arrow for another example that might help you.